Let's bring in Senator Amy Klobuchar now from Minnesota. Senator Klobuchar, thank you for joining us this morning.
George.
Let's start out there with the state of the economy right now. What are you seeing in Minnesota? I know your governor has started to open the state over the last couple of days, relax some of the guidelines. Number one, do you support that? And number two, do you see Minnesota emerging from the damage relatively quickly?
I support what our governor is doing. He's been very careful and listened to the doctors and the scientists. And we are still under a stay-at-home order. But what's been going on is that for quite a while, he's had garden stores open and home repair stores open, hunting and fishing, and that's been a positive thing for our state. But like every state in the country, George, we are suffering from one important thing, and that is a lack of national strategy. You know, we can tune out this president's rants about chugging bleach, but we can't tune out the fact that we have a lack of protective equipment, that we do not have enough testing, that there is an absence of national leadership. And so I enjoyed hearing Kevin in that he did acknowledge the seriousness of this, but what he didn't bring up was the testing. We need to be able to test people at double the rate so that our meatpacking plants in Minnesota, the food processing plants in Minnesota and in the Midwest are able to reopen. We're going to have trouble with our food supply chain, George. We're going to have trouble in rural America. And when I walk around my neighborhood, just like everyone else, you see boarded up businesses. Those are people's hopes and dreams. And that's why Democrats have pushed hard for the testing as a key element to opening up this economy, and it should have happened months ago.
But it's pretty clear, though, Senator, that you are going to have a rougher road, that at least at the front end of this, it doesn't look like you're going to have the same kind of bipartisanship as you all consider this next stimulus package, which would include state and local government funding. Presumably, Democrats have been pushing for more testing funding as well. It looks like this is slowed down. Do you still expect the kind of bipartisan cooperation we've seen in the first few packages?
Well, there has to be some, but in each package, you saw the Democratic Party pushing for the testing, pushing for hospitals, pushing at Mitch McConnell, and just refusing to agree to something that just helped certain people and not the rest of this country. I think you're going to see that again. And then I also think you see this long term. I just keep focusing on this lack of leadership in the president because of the fact that when you look back in history, and you're a student of history, out of the Great Depression, because of the leadership of Roosevelt, we got Social Security and a safety net and long-term changes. Out of the embarrassment of Russia and Sputnik, what happened when John F. Kennedy was president? He got America to rally and to get the education we needed to put a man on the moon. Well, this is this moment, so you need to put someone in the White House. And you know I've supported Vice President Biden, and I'm excited about his candidacy. You need to put someone in the White House that's going to have that long-term vision and isn't going to spend day after day dividing people. So I look at the short term. Let's get the money out there for our state and local governments, and then let's look at the long term of how we're going to make a steady economy so we can once again lead in the world. And we're not going to do it with this president.
You mentioned Vice President Biden. He suggested this week that President Trump might try to some way hold back the election, delay the election. I know he's concerned about that. Do you know why he's concerned? Election day is set by Congress, not the president.
Well, I think he's concerned because of what's been going on in some of the states and how the president pushes some of these governors. And he's concerned because of what just happened in Wisconsin. So let's look at it. While President Trump was in the White House ordering a mail-in ballot to vote at home in the luxury of 1600 Pennsylvania Avenue in his slippers, I don't know if he had on slippers, but that's my image, people in Wisconsin are standing in garbage bags with masks on their face, getting off of work at hospitals, standing in line, having to choose between their health and their right to vote. And now nearly 20 of them are sick, including a poll worker of the coronavirus. We can't let that happen in November. You heard Republican Governor Larry Hogan of Maryland just say he wants to go to vote by mail. So do a number of Republicans across the country. That's why Ron Wyden and I are pushing for our bill with the support of Michelle Obama, the civil rights groups, to keep pushing to make sure that we have both vote by mail and early voting, as well as voting that day, so we have a whole new generation of poll workers. It's actually a really exciting thing to work on, George. It's about our very democracy. People can't lose their right to vote.
President Trump's campaign manager has said he thinks Minnesota could be in play and could go for the president in November. Is Minnesota in play?
I don't believe so, not if I have anything to do with it. I look at the fact that Minnesotans are a hardworking, practical group. And this president, the way every day he rants and raves from the bully pulpit of that White House, while we see hardworking people going to work in our hospitals every day, risking their lives, ordinary people doing extraordinary things. I was just as part of Vice President Biden's Soul of the Nation. We did public service yesterday, and I was at one of our food banks where you see people in line waiting for food and volunteers out there, young people. No, I don't think Minnesota's in play because we want a real leader in the White House. And I am, the whole Midwest, when you look at what's happening with our biofuel plants, with our commodities, with what's happening with our poultry, this is not a good situation. And the president, in my mind, has never done enough when it comes to rural America. And now, as they would say, the chicken's coming home to roost. And you have seen some real problems with people having to kill their chickens, literally, because of what is going on right now with our rural economy. And you're seeing coronavirus come here, not enough ventilators, not enough hospitals. And we're going to have to really focus on rural America in the months to come.
Senator Klobuchar, thanks for your time this morning.
Thanks, George. It was great to be on. And I'm glad you're feeling better and your wife is.
Take care. Thanks very much. Glad John's feeling better as well.
Hi, everyone. George Stephanopoulos here. Thanks for checking out the ABC News YouTube channel. If you'd like to get more videos, show highlights, and watch live event coverage, click on the right over here to subscribe to our channel. And don't forget to download the ABC News app for breaking news alerts. Thanks for watching.